We are the One Story Podcast. We believe in the power of a story. Everyone has a story, and that story is meaningful. Your story can make a difference. Your story can inspire others. Your story is important. At the same time, ultimately, everyone's story is a part of one story, the big God story.
It's not what you said. You're not who you said you were. When are you alone? When will you come back home?
Hey now, fam, we're back with the One Story Podcast. This is episode 28. We're happy to be here. My name is Drew, and I'm with Isaac.
What's up, bud?
How you doing today?
Good.
We're doing fine on this wonderful Saturday morning.
I don't know why I laugh so much.
What?
I had a preemptive laugh coming up for no
I haven't even
reason.
said anything funny. You just like to laugh at me.
I'm just a giggler. Call me Giggles. Giggles Labrie.
We just want to plug our guest that we're having today is Nell G. He's a rap artist based out of Victorville, California.
But he claims P-Town. Pomona.
P-Town, Pomona is kind of where he's from. So we have him on. He kind of talks about his art and his music. It was a really good conversation, and we hope you guys enjoy it. Look him up online. We're gonna put his show in the show notes. We're gonna put links where you can find him and his music.
Check it out.
Yeah,
For sure, check it out.
It's really good.
Won't be disappointed.
And I'm not like, I appreciate all types of music, and I'm not really like into hip hop and that kind of thing.
Yeah,
But,
me too.
But I listen to it, and it's good. It's good. Like,
I can't help but just
Yeah.
start just moving. You just
Yeah.
right away. You just start moving. No, but he just talks about kind of his place, and because he's a Christian and he's a rapper, so
yeah, but he doesn't
does
classify
not
as a
Christian
Christian
rapper.
which is I think important, and I think he explains it well. But the distinction of he's doing and producing this art, but he's a Christian, and that's coming out in his music, and the words that he's saying is his Christ following.
Yeah.
But he's not trying to fit the mold of
Which he feels like everybody's trying to plug him into. Everybody's trying to make. Yeah, it's he's a Christian rapper, which Christians are trying to plug him into.
Put him into that.
And then the
box.
rap world's trying to plug him into the rap world.
Yeah.
And what he was saying though that he's just doing it because God is saying this is where you're supposed to be. You just tell your life. You tell essentially you tell my story, through your life. And he had mentioned, we were just talking. He had mentioned just the most important thing through all this, is his relationship, and with that he's able to hear from God. And where are these flies?
Wait. Isaac brought in his kombucha.
No.
The flies are just all over the place. It's the plagues. No, but that's a good point. Like, it's about what he was stressing was the relationship he has with God, and that's all that comes out in his music. His experiences, his relationship, and he's not trying to tell people what to do. And that's what God asks of us.
And I think that's the most important thing.
We have a relationship with Him.
And we found the scripture. It's Matthew 7, verse 22 and 23. It says, "Many will say to me on that day, Lord, Lord, did we not prophesy in your name, and in your name drive out demons, and in your name perform many miracles? Then I will tell them plainly, I never knew you. Away from me, you evildoers." And what Jesus is saying, I think, it's just no matter what we do, like, with our salvation is not by works. It's not by all the things that we do. Even if we are doing it in the name of Jesus, all He wants from us is a relationship with us, is for us to know Him and to feel His love and to know His love. Like I was telling you, Drew, like I can go to church. I went to church for years, and just going obediently, but never really knowing His presence or feeling His presence. And I was I wasn't with Him in that. I mean, how do you explain that? Do you know what I mean?
Tough. No. Well, I think what this little passage is talking about is people will say, like, yeah, I did all this in your name, or I was at church every Sunday, or I was helping the poor, or whatever the case may be. But if it's not coming out of love from Christ, then it doesn't really count much to God. And God's just looking for a relationship with him. And I don't even know if I'm saying that right, but it's all about, you having a connection with God, and then that from that flows out, how we interact with other people.
You know what I think too, where it comes down to is doesn't matter how good of people we are.
Yeah.
Living in this world, doesn't matter how many good deeds we do, doesn't matter how kind or polite be that for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Be who God is calling you to be, who Jesus wants us to be. But I think in the end, it doesn't really matter unless we know who he is, and that's the Son of God.
And what is it, John 14:6? Jesus said, "I am the way, the light, the light, and the truth."
Is the way, the truth, and the light.
And no one comes to the Father but through him. So that's what it comes down to, is knowing Jesus, having a relationship with him, and moving forward in that. And I think Nell kind of speaks that through his music, and he's connecting to people, kids out there, the younger generation, that maybe wouldn't step foot in a church, but they'll listen to some rap music and hear a positive message that's coming from him. So, yeah, we really celebrate what Nell's doing. You guys go support him, listen to his music, look for what's coming up into the future, and here's the show.
It's hard to fight temptation. It's hard to fight temptation. I don't know what this feeling is. I don't know what.
All right, so we're here with Nell G.
Yo.
What's up, man?
Not much. Just another sunny day in Cali.
It's actually
Right on.
gloomy outside. What's that all about?
The sun will come
That's
out.
overcast because where I was coming from, the sun was out.
Oh,
really?
Yeah, and then we got down here, I was like, okay.
You're coming from the high desert,
Yeah, I'm standing there right now.
Victorville.
The Ville. I'm going to call it the Ville. That's how I call it now.
Actually, it has its moments where it's because I for work I go all over, but especially in the winter.
Yeah.
It's cool up there in the winter. It's beautiful.
Man, I had before I got the car I had a Impala, an 05 Impala,
Mhm.
and it didn't have no heat. It didn't have
Does
a
it get
heater.
cold?
Yeah, so I would come outside and I'm going to work. So I'm going to work at like 3-4 in the morning.
Uh-huh.
Mm.
It's ice on the car. I'm sitting there like,
I wanna
hey,
die.
babe, I'm gonna take your car. It'll be like, get your mom to take you to work.
Yeah.
And then that's what I would do. So that's
Nice.
it gets cold up there, but when it's hot, it gets hot up there too. There's
Oh
no-
yeah, and that's the part where I was.
You get the full
those
swing.
Are those
Yeah.
are, that's the time when you're like, oh, I don't know about it,
No,
because
no.
it gets warm for sure.
Yeah. So, yeah, we got Nell on today. We ran into Nell, well, Isaac probably more so, but I was there too, during the Chino Tribe skate event.
Mhm.
Which
What
we
was
talked
that?
about a few episodes ago with Fernando Pelaez.
And that was maybe like a month ago that it happened?
Longer
Dang,
than
it's
that
been-
was it
already.
lo-
It's
is
been
it a
like
month?
couple of months.
No.
That happened in May.
May something.
Dang.
We already about to be in July tomorrow.
Mhm.
So,
So
That's crazy. So, but Nell performed there. And Isaac, you were what, the MC? I helped set up a little bit, and then I had to leave.
I literally thought when y'all said MC, I thought he was about to rap. I literally did.
that was funny. He goes, "What's your name?" I
Yeah,
go,
what's your rap
Isaac.
name? Like-
He goes, "MC Isaac." I go, "No, I'm just gonna be hosting."
Yeah, I
But
was
don't
like,
you call like someone that's running or hosting?
I don't
an
even know what
MC
MC stands
that's
for.
that's the root. That's the root. But like, I thought it would just be like host. Like,
Yeah.
oh, this is the host. When
Yeah.
you said MC, it was like, like it crossed my mind. Like, wait, is he rapping? That's why I asked. That's why I
Thought we're about to have a rap battle, huh?
Because you never hear MC. Like, I don't even know like what MC. Yeah, that's the only MC.
like-
Like, I don't see MC in nobody's names. But you
It's
just
funny.
You just-
And it's funny how I just added that to my name, huh?
Yeah.
Just I'm MC.
You were just hosting the event, but somehow you got MC on your title.
yeah.
That was Fernando. So, well, from what we're just talking about, Nell, he's a rap artist.
Mhm.
And you know, we got to see him perform that day. I listened to some of your music prior to that, you know, because I was hosting. I wanted to get to know some of your music, and right away I was just like, "Dang, this guy he's real. His music's legit."
Mm-hmm.
That's real humbling. Because I remember when I started. Yeah. I remember messing with producers that just put reverb on my voice. So just be like, this is what it is. Like, it wasn't really too much nothing.
The auto tune.
Yeah, like, that's really all they did. And it was like, I still have that old music. I'm like,
You listen to it, and
trash.
you
I was
cringe when you listen to it.
Yeah,
That's how it is when we listen to our first episodes of One Story Pod. I'm like, ooh.
It just bothers me. Some people be like telling me. Some people still coming to me like, bro, yeah, man, I really connected to that tape, and I was just like, you did? I was like, but at the same time, it was still me being honest. Like I knew what I wanted to put out, but it was
Mhm.
just like the quality that was more.
Yeah.
that started to become more important to me as I grew more as an artist.
And that's
Mhm.
how it is too. I mean, it's the evolution of an artist too. Like you hear their first stuff, and then
Mm.
the
You get-
second,
yeah,
the
yeah.
third, and
Yeah.
it's just
Evolves.
yeah.
Because when I met my wife, she said my tape was trash, and I was
And that's
like,
why you're married.
yeah, I was like, thank you, babe. You're so honest, and that's literally how she got her
We
ring.
could do this.
That's how it was. Yeah.
So why don't you? I think today would be a little bit different how we tell the story. This is a podcast about telling stories, but we want to focus in on your music and,
Mhm.
and the art that you're doing. Maybe you just give us a little bit of background of it might not be a little bit, might be a
Mm.
lot of how you got to rapping and all that.
Well, how I got to rapping one is like, well, since I was more into rock music starting out, and I was into
Okay.
R&B a lot, so
Mhm.
rapping wasn't really like the case.
When you say rock, like, what are you talking about?
I'm talking about like hardcore. I listen to heavy metal. I listen to all that acoustic. I listen to like
What was
even
your
the
bands?
scene. Linkin Park, of course, was the band.
Okay. Okay.
Linkin Park was probably like
All right.
the epitome of influence for most of my life. And
See, I grew up liking punk rock, so like
Mhm.
90s punk,
name
No
some.
Effects, Bad Religion, Strung Out.
See, I tried to
Lagwagon.
listen to Bad Religion, but something about it told me not to.
Yeah. Maybe just in the name.
Yeah.
I literally did because I had got a Bad Religion shirt because I liked the
Uh-huh.
shirt. It was
Uh-huh.
tight, and it was like, all right, I'm gonna go listen to him, and I forgot what song it was, and I was just like, this one's cool, and then I listened to another one, and I was like, nah,
Yeah.
man, I'm gonna just go back to
He's full on like atheist.
Yeah.
And it's in the name, but they have good music. So.
I was like, whoa, like, and I don't know what it pushed me, cause with music I always listen to it and I would just adapt to more and more and more.
Mm.
So it was like when I would listen to regular rock and then the scene started changing to screamo
Mm.
and like everybody was getting the band shirts and
Mhm.
stuff. I got into it. It was just something I did. And
Is this like in high school
Oh, yeah.
time period?
It's
And that,
Pomona High, yeah.
and you're from your age, that was definitely huge during
Oh,
while you
yeah.
were in high school, because that
oh yeah,
that wasn't a thing when
and
we were in
skinny
high
jeans.
school.
Tom's and skinny jeans, lip piercings. It
'Cause-
was in the.
You're
like, fad.
25, 24?
About to be 25.
Okay, so
24,
this
yeah.
is about 5 years after us, and then when me and Drew were in high
7
school,
or 8 years after us.
He
Oh,
still feel like
dang.
he's young.
Oh,
He's trying.
Yeah,
over there. He's trying.
Like, oh yeah, man. I'm 29.
I'm not that
Drew,
far
you
away
just
from you
blew
guys.
dang, I just
7 or
literally
8 years.
I forgot I'm not 30 anymore. St. Catharines anymore.
Anyways.
But that wasn't
No,
a
it's
thing.
different. Yeah, it's
You
different.
know, like, and that started to come in right after we graduated. So when you were in high school, that was
Yeah,
it was peaking
that was the
probably.
thing. But I left. I was like that. Like same scene kid friends. I was with everybody.
Mhm.
That was into like Bad Religion, or I was in the System of a Down too. Like just
Mhm.
I was into the vintage good rock music. Like I was into that, and that's what drafted me to my friends. It made me like drift to them.
Mm-hmm.
When I moved on, I got into my senior year. I was like, you know what? I'm tired of being this way because I was like, I wasn't getting no girls. I was like, I'm sitting here like, man, I look nerdy. Like I was chunky. So one summer, right before my summer started, my senior year, I started working out. I had got me my first job. I was at the Boys and Girls Club.
Mm.
It was a summer job. And I got in the senior year. I lost all this weight. I had a new swag, and I started hanging out with like my sister's friends.
Mm-hmm.
And sooner or later, they became more of my friends, and
Mhm.
I gained more friends. And they was into dancing. It was into that jerk fab, and that's how I got back into
Wait,
hip-hop.
what's jerk?
Jerk
What's
fab?
jerk fab?
Yeah, the jerk fab.
I'm
like
feeling
like,
old,
you know,
man.
you
This
doing
is
the
not
you doing the
good.
reject.
This is
Like
not
teach me
good.
how to jerk. Teach me how to jerk. That little season of all that. I got into that dance, but then I really wanted to dance more because I got into pop locking, tutting, and isolations and stuff like that. So that's how I really moved into like hip hop. And I couldn't get out. It was just like I still had Linkin Park and stuff, but it was just like
So
let
you
me
were-
explore this world.
You were in like the rock culture, and then you got into
The
more
rap
dance and
culture.
hip hop,
Yeah.
which I would say is probably more white to black.
Yeah.
You know, just being
And
real about it.
Yeah, no, it's no to be 100 because I really grew up in a household where it's like everybody was thugs. To be honest with you, everybody
Mm.
was in the hood fab. Like
Mm.
So I didn't want to be subjectified to being a gangster because of my surroundings. And being a Pomona, like, come on, that's all kids is into. You're a Blood or Crip, and who you fighting, whose side you on. That's
Really?
literally, yeah.
Bloods and Crips in Pomona.
Oh yeah, and then especially like it was for a time period. It's definitely like don't be black and go on the South Side because it was like times when riots would happen at the school. And it'll be like blacks versus Mexicans. And it'd just be big. It was just a fighting and just being tough was just a big thing in certain parts. And depending on who you hung with is how you were gonna, make your bed.
So you separated yourself from both,
from a lot of that.
both.
I just said like, let me leave all this stuff alone just so I won't get caught up in it.
So you go headbanging with the rockers.
No, handbanging with the rockers. Yeah,
The
that's
rocker
what it
kids.
was. But it was funny because I didn't even start like smoking or drinking or anything until like after I left and got back into the hip hop fab.
Right.
But not saying that that's all they do. It was just like, you know what? I just started getting older and getting comfortable trying to find myself because I didn't know who I was.
Where you're trying to fit in.
Yeah, that's true. And it was like,
What is what's the background like of you growing up? And because you were talking to us before about your musical influence, and you were just talking about like rock. But then what about growing up? You said you had a little bit of different influences. Of
Jill
music.
Scott and Lauryn Hill were probably like, oh, those are my ladies. Like I
love Lauryn Hill.
I wanted to like marry them at one point. And then
Nice.
Anthony Hamilton, of course, was big on me. And my mom really loved Al Green and Luther Vandross. So it was
So you
like I heard
that
a lot of
in the
R&B.
house.
Oh yeah, but when she want to get gangster, and we go to a family barbecue or something, they slapping like NWA, they slapping Ice Cube, they slapping everybody. You feel me? Like Dr. Dre, all that.
So you had, I mean, that sounds like a pretty wide array of different influences that you had musically.
Yeah,
which probably helped shape, obviously who you are now.
Oh man, I'm very thankful for the R&B aspect of it because the emotions that they put into their music helped me be like, you know what? I don't want to be fake when I make this music. I don't want to be some trend hopping rapper. I don't want to be some trend hopping singer. Like what do I have to talk about? And then that's when I got older and I started really reflecting on my music and always knew I wanted to talk about me and just be honest with myself. I didn't want to make club bangers. Like it's like, because I didn't go to the club like that. I did party for a certain part of my life, like a lot. I like going there. And it'd probably be cool to make one here and there. I didn't completely reject it. But it was like, my life wasn't about in the club. But there are certain parts where it's like, I can talk about it, but it won't specifically be for club bangers.
Right.
You can turn into a club banger if you want to. Just like some clubs will play J. Cole. J. Cole just makes hits. He just makes songs that just you vibe to. And if you can play it in the club, play it. If I make a song that you can vibe to, if you want to play it in the club, go ahead, play it. Go ahead.
Yeah. I like that. So going from maybe jump ahead back to high school or finishing off, you getting into the more the hip hop culture. What did that look like for you and getting into your music career?
Well, I was everywhere. And of course when I lost all the weight and everything like that, and I got like even more handsome than I was.
Right.
I started getting the grills, and I ended up
Did the
running.
gym give you a stick when you went home
Oh man,
to beat off all the wind?
like I really just wanted a 6-pack.
to beat up all the wind.
Yeah, I don't know if you said that right. Maybe we could edit that out, huh?
I think I will.
Well, I really just wanted a 6-pack. So as long as I lost the weight, I just wanted to look cute. That's all I really did. So I just changed the swag up.
Well,
and just
you're a
lost
big
the weight.
dude. See, this is the problem.
Yeah,
because I have the same problem you have. This is the problem, Drew. You
What's
don't
the
know.
problem? Okay.
You might have this problem.
I'll sit back.
I got a picture. I was
You're-
super skinny. Like I was dumb
because
skinny.
well, you're a big dude like me,
Yeah.
and clothes fit different on skinny dudes. Skinny guys can make clothes look good.
Yeah.
When you're a big guy, you got broad shoulders. It's tough.
It's hard. You gotta kind of like.
You're like, you see an outfit on some guy, and you're like, man, that looks good. You go put on the same outfit. You're
He's
like,
like,
yeah,
no,
it
I
does
look
fit,
crazy
but it
right now.
doesn't
Oh, wait,
I
the
did not
fact-
look right.
The fact that you just said outfit kind of bothers me.
Drew,
I don't think I ever
Drew,
looked
wait, you don't wear outfits?
Oh, look at that outfit over there. It looks cute.
See, look, there you go.
Hey, he's clowning, man.
I didn't say anything. I'm gonna leave it as is.
No, don't feel me. You know where I'm coming from.
Yeah, no,
Okay.
I get it because my
Come on now, help me out here.
I I would see an outfit too, like on a mannequin. I was like, man, those jeans look fly. Like I might have to get those, and I'll see a shirt. But if I wear it and put it on, then my aunt or family be like, why you got your sister's shirt on? Like, so like, they be like talking about me. They be on my
Glad I
head.
get that. I
Like,
still get that comment from everybody.
I'm like, can I wear can I wear fitted shirts, please? Can I be myself? Like, dang.
Yeah.
But
Well, I'm
was
over
that
here
coming-
with the short and stocky, so I got my own problems of their own. So you guys over here complaining about too big.
Drew doesn't go to the big and tall; he goes to the short and small.
Oh, they make that? You know those shops?
I'm gonna be quiet. I'm not even gonna get in that.
So when you're talking about your family commenting on your
Mhm.
your fashion,
Mhm.
is that from a cultural perspective or
Yeah, because since it was like me living with my aunt, because I didn't live with my dad. My mom passed away when I was younger, and my dad, he moved because me and my sister wanted to. When a situation didn't feel like safe or didn't feel comfortable, it's like we need to move somewhere else. And we was with my aunt at the time. My aunt, she comes from Compton, so what she seen growing up was like, you don't wear tight stuff, or you were seen as like, you gay, you like boys, like that's literally what I come from. So she would buy me shirts. It was like these big 2X's, striped shirts, like no swag. I used to hate it. Like I used to hate it. Like I was like, no, I would rebel against her every time. My sisters and them were like, oh yeah, I like my fits. I hated my clothes. I was like, I had big shoes too. I was big feet. Like it was like, nah, bro, I'm not about to be looking like Boo Boo the Fool out here. You feel me? You got me messed up. And then that's where I was like, I'm gonna lose this weight and I'm gonna shop for myself. Just give me the money. And I'll just go shop for myself. And that's really what it was. But that segment of my life too, that influenced my music as well. Like I like everything, like all the jokes, all the changes, like really all of it influenced because it changed my perspective each time something changed. It changed my perspective
grew.
of how to look at people. I did grow.
Yeah.
And when I did all that and then moved from like in high school and got with those girls, I moved on, ended up falling in love with this one girl. I wouldn't. Now with me now, I look back as like, nah, that wasn't love. I was honestly infatuated with the forbidden fruit, and that's just what it was. And I got caught up with her. I ended up moving to Louisiana. I was still like loving hip hop, loving rap, but getting out to the South, like rap was big out there. Meek Mill was big in certain parts. Kevin Gates was like barely coming up at the time. Like rappers like that. Like if people don't know, like these are like these high mainstream rappers that like I was started listening to. Big Sean. I was listening to all these rappers. Like I started gaining more music. I'm like really into hip hop now. Now it's like I don't even listen to dance. I just listen like to rap. I like to vibe out. Like I started getting like a little older. Like let me calm down a bit. And at one point, it got bad between me and the girl that I was potentially engaged with first for a long time. I was like 18 at the time.
Dang, you're young.
Yeah, so that's what happens when you taste that fruit too soon. You feel me? You get caught up, and that's really what happened. And she went to class one day. I was in her dorm. I was by myself. I was on the laptop. I'm listening to 2 Chainz. Now how I view rap, because as you start rapping, when you become an artist, you change how you look at music. Like my music perspective has completely changed. Like, I can't look at it as just somebody driving on the freeway going to their office job or some like computer tech job just listening to music just to listen to it. I look at the structure now. I look at the words, how they rhyme, how they flow. Then I wasn't into it yet. So I'm listening to like, man, what is he talking about? I'm in the content. I'm in the substance. So if I feel like you weren't talking about it, I'm like, I could do better than this. And that ABC rap, like that red fish, blue fish rap. Like I wasn't into it.
Just as long as it rhymes.
Yeah,
Is that what you're saying?
as long as it rhymes, you're gonna do it.
Okay.
But at the time, I was like, man, I can do better than this guy. And I was like, man, let me write something. So I grab a piece of paper and I start writing. And I already did poetry. I did poetry most of my life. I stopped once I got into dancing because I didn't sit down in the house no more. It was like I was always out and about. So I started writing. And I was writing into Eminem's Mockingbird. I don't know if anybody knows that song, but I started writing to that instrumental. I was like really loving this. I was like, oh, like let me talk about it. And I just started talking about like past, like it was just my life. And I had it, and I was like, you know what? I think I want to try to really do this. So I started investing in that, like because at the time when I was at school, I couldn't pay for the school I was at. I had to drop out. I didn't have no phone. I couldn't talk to anybody.
And you're in Louisiana.
Yeah, I was in Grambling State. I was going to Grambling
Mm.
State,
Okay.
and it was like I couldn't pay for my student loans. I couldn't get no scholarships. I tried everything, tried to stay because I really wanted to get my education because that was always important to me.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't work out, so I was like, man, I'm at my ropes, and that's when somehow, some way, I just started writing rap. And at the time, I still was not in God at all.
Mm.
I was like, I knew of him,
You
but
got
I
a little
wasn't.
bit of background.
I have a background. Yeah, my mom took me to church a lot. Like
Mhm.
so before she passed, like we was always at church. It wasn't
Mhm.
like we wouldn't miss it. And then of course both my grandmas were in church a lot at the time. And then even in Louisiana, there were a couple of times we actually went to a church thing because some people invited us every now and then.
Mm-hmm.
So it was like it was there,
Mm-hmm.
but I didn't know he blessed me with that gift yet. That it was him not blessing me with the gift until I really started getting in there. So I was writing. Me and her got into a big argument. She came home and was like, "You want to rap?" And something about that day, like, turned in me. It was just like, this is something pulled me that I was like, nah, I gotta do this. Something's telling me let me try to do this. Let me try. I got the words. I have something that I can do. I can contribute to this culture because it's something about I couldn't pull from rap music. There's something about it I couldn't pull from it. I'll go to rock, but it didn't make me feel the same as rap would do.
Mm.
And when she said that, it kind of clicked in my head like, you've already been in this struggle right now, and you just bashing down a dream that I hadn't even started yet,
Right,
and you
yeah.
already want to. So once that turned me off, I got a chance. My relative hit me up and was like, "Oh, you trying to come back home?" I was like, "Yeah, sure. I am, because I can't do nothing out here. I can't finish school, so I gotta come back to Cali." So came back to California. Later on, I found out that she just didn't want me with a old girl. So that's really what it was. She
So
was
it
like,
worked out.
yeah, so it worked out. It
Both
worked out.
ends.
I got back, and I already knew friends from high school that did music, and I hit them up. Like, yo, like, show me what I can do. Like, I started just networking with people. And that's how I really got into the music fab. And then 2014 came along. So that was all in 2013.
Mm-hmm.
And I wrote that song. I still had that one song. And I still, practice every day, try to write something different, try to write this, try to write that, listen to this beat, listen to that beat. Because I really started getting into it. Like, how do I learn? What can I listen to? What should I do? Who can I record with? I just had all these questions. I felt like I was a newborn baby.
Mm.
And
So you hadn't recorded anything yet. You just had a bunch of stuff written.
no, but I met a friend, and we was in his room. He knows the struggle about this. We was in his room on his laptop. I literally rapped on the speaker on his laptop, and the beat was playing, and he mixed it on like Cubase or something like that. He had something, he was trying to mix it, and it was my first rap mix. And I was like, it's funny. It was to that song, Sugar, How You Get So Fly by Frankie
yeah,
J.
yeah.
It was to that beat. I had to. It was like I loved it. But and one day I was on YouTube. So I'm back in Cali.
Mm.
One day I was on YouTube, and I heard this beat. I was sitting at the table at my aunt's house. My sister was there, and this neighbor, a homie, was there. We were sitting there, and I was like, just started rapping the verse that I wrote that day in Louisiana when I finally decided I'm gonna leave.
Mm.
And I rapped it to this instrumental, and I called it Couch Potato Blues. And I started rapping it, and it just went well, and I recorded it and released it like 2014, like beginning of the year.
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
And I was like so happy about it because people like really liked it. It had got like 1,500 plays.
Mm.
It was like people was really like hitting me up like, "Yo, you rap now?" Like, whoa, whoa, whoa. And I was like, okay, I think I can get into this.
Yeah, yeah.
And since that day, like, I just been working, recording. Like, I always told myself, get better. Because it wasn't like, if I was going to get a deal, I was like, if I work hard at this, I can get something. I didn't know what, but I know I can get something. And now, look at this is where I'm at now.
Yeah. Nice. So, were you going to say something?
No.
So then now to this point, you were saying that was in 2014?
That was in 2014, yeah.
And then what about your relationship with God? Like, how did that come about?
Well, also during that time, you say about the end of 2014, I actually met my wife then, but I didn't know who she was really. I got her. I gave the story. She says I gave her my number, and she texted me, but I still got your number though. So, but that's a whole nother story. And
Well, that's a smart move. Give her your number, so if she calls, you know she's interested.
yeah, she texted me, so I was like, girl, stop playing. But anyway, how it gets to it is later on in life, I didn't know she was gonna be that connector that was gonna get me back on the right track. So my grandpa died later that year, and I found out my grandmother and then we're losing the house because bills were bad. Like there was stuff unpaid, and nobody knew. It was like a secret. He was trying to carry it all on himself. Like RIP to Cornelius, because that was like that last symbol of like a good, like other than my mother, it was my grandpa who I looked up to. Like, you know, he got the job done. He was the peace keeper. Like he kept like the house. He kept family coming together a lot.
So he played
he played a big part
that was
on my father's side of the family. He did, just like my mom played a big part on my mother's side and my father's side.
Right.
So they were like two big, you know, pinnacles of hope.
And now at this point, you've lost both of them.
Yeah. So now, I mean, at this point, family members relate to me that I'm that pinnacle because I go to both sides. I still visit everybody. I try to talk to everybody who, if you want to hit me, I'll hit you up. If you don't hit back, it's cool. Just want to say I love you. Yeah, you know, that's what it is. So that's another thing that this music and doing what I'm doing is helping me like realize, like, you know, to be humble and just always to spread the love about it. So when it got down to that point, I was in a bad place. I hit her up. I was like done with females. I was done with like, you know, the chasing and everything. And at this point, I didn't know God was making the changes in my life I didn't know he was going to make. Once he did that, I hit her up. And the first question she asked me was, the second question. The first question, she said, why do you still text me? And then I was just like, you know, I cleaned it up. It was like, you know, I mean, you got my number. You know who I am. I got yours. I mean, maybe I can start over and come at you with a better fashion. I can be your friend. And she said, yeah. So it was like, that's how hook, line, and sinker. But that's how we started talking. But the first real question she ever asked me, and not one person in my life has ever asked me this, not even family members, she was just like, what's your relationship with God?
Oh, dang.
And that like shook my whole world because not
She
one,
wasn't playing.
yeah, like one girl, like I was like, whoa, and I wasn't gonna run away from it because I was like, this is new. Well, I mean, I know, and we started talking, and she explained to me that, you know, this can't move forward because I'm looking for a man that knows God. And I really liked her at the time. Like she was talking, like it was like, okay, what am I willing to do? And that was like the first time I've ever experienced sacrifice because I had to sacrifice, you know, what I knew before to what I knew now. I had to sacrifice all that old knowledge for something new, because I felt something was telling me in my spirit. Someone was telling me that, yo, this is good for you. Because it didn't seem nothing negative. It didn't seem like nothing bad. And I already knew my mom was into God. So it was just like, well, what can go wrong?
This out.
Yeah, and let me try it out. So at the time with the music, she heard that tape. And
she laughed at it. Or that was
she didn't laugh at it. She was just like,
no, I'm just playing.
It's okay. Like, you know, she was like, okay. And then I started working towards God at that time when I got with her. So I dropped another mixtape. And this one was called Give Love, Expect Nothing. At the time, my name was Glenn before an LG. And the Glenn stood for Give Love, Expect Nothing. I wanted a positive outlook. I didn't want to expect nothing. Like, just like you give a gift, you're supposed to just give and not expect nothing back.
Right.
Just like if I'm going to give you this $20 bills, if you ask me for it, I'm not expecting you to give it back. So giving love, I shouldn't expect it. I should always give love. And I knew, spiritually, that's a good thing to do that. So that's how I just went by Glenn. And that's how I went on, and I dropped this mixtape. And you would see utterances of me talking about my life, just like I've been doing, like little different aspects. But God was creeping into it. Like, it was like, I'm becoming something I know I'm supposed to be. And at the time, I was starting to read the Bible more. I became one of those, just like when when you're really saved, you get obsessed with it. Like, it's like, I read like 10 scriptures, like for like 10 hours a day. Like, oh, I'm by myself. Love, leave me alone. Like, I'm about this right now. And that's really what it was. I was getting into it. I was on fire for it. And when it really changed, I really tried to hone in on, like, I need to understand this, because one thing that pictured in me, I don't want religion, I want relationship, because I need
Mhm.
this to,
That's
I
what
need to
God wants.
understand what is real about this.
Mhm.
I really need to hone in what is real. And it really affected my music, because I didn't want to deface what was given to me, what I was chosen for, but I didn't want to disconnect from what's going on here.
Mm-hmm.
There's stuff going on here. There's, like, my life is crazy right now. I'm seeing homies go to jail. I'm seeing, like, family members drop like flies. I'm hearing about killings. Like, this is, like, bad. My family is lost. Like, they going through divorces. Like, it's a lot of stuff going on with me, and I did not want to detach myself from the reality, because what if I realize that my voice has power? Because some people say, man, that's good, man. You inspired me, because, like, you went through all this with your mom. Like, I talk about my mom a lot in my music, because that
Mhm.
really is a core of what really got me here. And I was like, man, how am I going to do this? And being with my wife, it pushed me to release this tape called So Far So God. And that's the mixtape before you guys heard my new EP.
The new EP.
Yeah, that was an EP too. That was a 5-song EP. And it was like a marker in my life to say, okay, so far so good. No, so far so God.
Mhm.
Like, so far, and I've gotten here, but this is so God. Like, this is like, because there are so many moments where I could have been dead.
Mm.
There's so many moments where I could have honestly killed myself.
Mm.
Like, I dealt with, before I got, like, right in the midst of when I started talking to the woman I'm with now and doing my music, there was a point where, right when I was when God finally dropped it on me, like, I forgive you, like, you know, I'm taking you as one of my children. Like, you're about to see who I am. I'm giving you the sight. I was going under self-destruction. It felt like a hand was pressuring on me. Like, you know, when you're doing push-ups and a commander's putting his foot on you? It was like that on my life. I'm doing
You
push-ups.
just couldn't do nothing. Or
At,
push it back
at that
you.
point, when I was starting to get into God, that commander was, I picture, how I look at it, I picture the commander as the devil.
Mm.
And he was holding his foot on me. And at one point, he sat on me, trying to make sure I was not going to get up from these push-ups. And that day, that self-destruct moment, I just went crazy. Like, I was just like, it just felt like I couldn't do anything. I was stuck. I was hopeless.
Mm.
And I just went to sleep that day. I woke up and cried it out. Like, I was like, man, what is going on? And then just some random peace fell on me. And it was just like, are you ready now?
Dang.
And I was just like, yes, whatever I gotta do to get out of this situation. I was just like, yes. And that, from that point on, I just, like, wiped my eyes. I took a breath, and I had writer's block. I couldn't write for that whole, it was like probably 2-3, like almost a month. I could not write. Like, it was like bad for me. I was like going through stuff, and I couldn't get it out the way I wanted to.
Mm-hmm.
And right after that peace struck on me, it was like, okay, start talking about this. And then that's when these songs, Selah, and all these other songs started coming, and I was like, okay. And I really started putting it out there as I put this EP out. And it was just a heavy tape. And then that's when things just started changing. Like, I got into this church. I joined the church I'm at, Destiny Christian Center. I joined there, and I joined the choir there. And this is all 2015 to 2016. So once I started joining there and being with Pastor Dr. Jay Giddens, he really is a good teacher. And I listen to him and my mentor. He goes by Shay. He's the choir director. He's like a big brother to me. Like, he been helping me out with that too, and with also the senses of my wife. Like, she knows who she is.
Mm.
She was like that before when I met her. So it was like, she's been a great inspiration to my life. Like, telling me, like, when I walk out that door, because she's not into the fame thing. She's like, you know, I'm about making sure, like, our finances is right, this is right, our relationship is right, like, my relationship with God's right. Like, she's about, like, family's good. Like, she's about that.
Yeah.
I'm more like, she knows I'm on the forefront. Like, if I'm gonna be this rap artist, I gotta be in these shows. I gotta walk on there like I know what I'm doing.
Mhm.
Like, I know who I am. And she's been helping me get like that. So when I met y'all at that show, that was like the first show where I actually could say I was comfortable. Like,
Mm.
it's like I'm at a point where I know who I am. I know what I'm doing.
Dang. So you're
That's sick.
barely coming in. You're coming
Yeah, I
into
literally
yourself right
just stepped into myself at that moment, like that day, because I was
Mhm.
like, you know what? Like, this year I already told myself I'm not stepping down. I'm not turning down nothing but my collar. Like, what if you need a show? Okay, I'll be there. I'm gonna perform these songs. I'm gonna
Mhm.
be there. Like, I'm fine. I finally got to the point where I've grown to where it's like, okay, I've grown there. Now I'm about to shoot. I'm about to like really grow now. It's
Mhm.
about to really change,
Mhm.
and that's how Level 24, the first song of that new EP. That's
So
how I
so
got
the
into
new
it.
EP, it's called Never Ending Love,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah.
And so you're talking about the first track.
I've been gone for a little minute. I wonder, can you even tell the difference? I'm back and better for the restitution. Bills been stacking, man, they such a nuisance. Working endless at this 9 to 5, all the while getting education. I need a word for my state of mind. Thank you, God, for rejuvenation. Got my
Yeah,
mental back into the
when I made that
grind.
track,
Gotta give
I didn't
thanks
know.
for the
I met this before I did y'all show. I did a show last year, and I met this producer named Chris Fuego, and he was a cool cat, and he sent me some beats, and I was like, oh, okay. And he sent me this one beat, and I was just like, you know what? Somebody's gonna produce my EP, because I met a couple producers, but he was the one that stuck out to me the most. And when I got that beat, the beats that you guys hear on that tape, on that EP, I was like, I gotta come out like, you know what? I've been quiet. I haven't dropped I hadn't dropped no music for like a year, and I was like, it's time. So, you know, I've been going for a little minute. It's like the first line. Like, I wonder if y'all can even tell the difference. Like, it's like people who really listened to me back then or listen to me now, or people who would go back and listen, can y'all tell the difference of how much I've grown, not only in my music but in God? Like, and that's like, I'm at 24 years old. That's my level. Like, I'm at a new level, and every year I'm at a different level. I try to strive for something better before I turn that age, or while I'm going through that stage.
Yeah, no, I
And
like
that's how
that.
and that's literally. Like,
Isn't there a line on there, when I step on stage, every time I step on stage, I slay a demon? Or is that on that
every
track?
time I touch them, like I slay
Oh,
a
yeah,
demon. Like,
yeah.
I know when I speak
That's
nothing
sick.
nothing but positivity. I speak about the hardships of my life, and I'm telling people, like, you know, be like, there's hope.
Mhm.
Like, whatever you're going through, endure it, because once you get out that storm, it's gonna be sunny. You're gonna go through more, so that's not gonna be the only one, and not until you're in the grave. Like, that's
Right.
how I think. Like, the day I'm in the grave is when I don't have to worry about hardship. But knowing that I'm in God, I'm in Jesus, like, I know I'm gonna be all right. I'm not
Yeah.
about to sit here and stress about it. Like,
Yeah.
it's like I'm gonna feel it for a second, and I'm like, man, I ain't worry about this. I'm about to move on.
Nice.
So I slay a demon. Like, people, when you listening to me, whatever, somebody in that crowd, if it's 3 people, one of those 3 people heard what I'm saying.
Mhm.
Even if it's the guy doing the sound check. Like,
Yeah.
somebody heard something
That's
that they
sick.
needed to hear, and I
Yeah.
slayed that demon that was whispering in their ear.
Yeah.
And that's how I really felt.
Nice. I like that. So there's 6 songs?
It's 6 songs, 6, like, you know, fantastic songs, I believe. Like,
Mhm.
They're
No,
good.
It is.
It's
It
good.
is. It is.
It's good.
Isaac was talking about it in the beginning. It's
It's
good
funny
stuff, man.
because I hit up Drew and I was like, oh dude, I just heard this guy's music. You know, I think it was after. I'm like, dude, it's legit. Like, check it out. And then Drew's like, oh, because Drew plays music. Drew's a guitarist and he played in a band.
Yeah,
that
we
actually
played in
was
a
pretty
band.
good. But so he knows music.
Mhm.
I feel like if anybody, you're really in touch with you introduced me to, you know, a bunch of music.
a lot of different
that's-
stuff. I kind of feel the same way you were talking about. Like, well, when I was in high school, I was just all about like rock and
Mhm.
you know, classic rock and punk rock. And then as I got older and started playing music, you really start appreciating.
All the
Everything,
different,
you know,
yeah, yeah.
appreciating
just-
how they make it, how they
Yeah.
sit there. And
Yeah,
go through
they're all
those
artists.
hours. Yeah.
You know, and it's
All the
yeah, maybe
different
it's not the
sounds.
style that you know, like country music. I used to hate country music, but
It's all
I,
on the
I-
same line.
I can listen to it. You know, there's
I
some
got
good
I
stuff.
got a couple of country music songs in my phone. I'm not going front. I got
Yeah,
this Hunter
yeah.
Haynes, Crazy Love. I be slapping that. Be
Yeah,
like,
it's good stuff.
I'll be like, okay, I'm feeling this right now. Like, and that's
You've
what
been
it
up in
was.
Victorville too long.
Oh no. Actually, no. When I be around, they don't. They my wife don't even know I got a country song in my phone. Like, she just
She knows now.
Yeah, she don't.
She's good enough.
And that's really how it is. But
Mhm.
yeah, like, and since I started rapping, a lot of people don't even know that I've dropped a lot of music. Like the first tape I dropped, it was 8 songs. It was I considered it an EP.
Mm-hmm.
Then dropped another mixtape. That was 11 songs.
Mm.
In between that, I had dropped like 5 other songs.
Mhm.
In between that, from my next EP, I dropped 3 other songs.
That's a lot.
And then it's just like there's songs that y'all don't even know I deleted. So it was like
Mm.
probably like I mean honestly I say songs I would probably recorded and trashed. I say there's another 10 to 15 songs I probably trashed and like I've rapped, written, ready to record and left it alone.
But on iTunes, is it just Never Ending Love that you can get to, or like where's your other?
The tape you can type in Glenn. I've requested for to manage that artist, but it's like
Okay.
you can type it in. So Far So God. It's a blue tape.
So
and,
far, so God.
Yeah, I made the cover on it, and the
Nice.
beats I got from YouTube.
Nice.
Like that's how I really started. Like most of my beats were from YouTube.
Okay.
Actually, most of them, yeah.
Huh.
Like this is the first era where I had a producer,
Mm.
and now with me, like trying to spread out my abilities, I can produce now. And then plus now it's like I really sing now. I'm in the choir in my church, so it's like
Learning to sing and
yeah,
everything.
my director would kill me if I. It's like, hey man, like, get that falsetto right, bro. Where's the crescendo on that last line? Like he'll really be
Get
on
on
me,
it.
and
That's good.
and I love it because
Yeah.
it just makes me smile. Like man, I like it when somebody pressuring me because it's like a physical being of someone helping me. Because if
Mhm.
God's on you, he's like you may not see it right away. You might be like, was he trying to? You gotta think about it, but physically, it's like you looking at me like, "Yo,
Yeah.
where's this drum pattern at?" And it's like, "Oh, my bad." Like
Yeah.
I see it right away, so it's
Yeah.
like it's really good.
Hmm.
Having mentors.
Nice.
So we're talking about how your music's legit, right? And
Mhm.
it's like it sounds like just whatever the beats, the
Mhm.
words, the everything. It's
Right.
really good.
Mm-hmm.
And we had talked about before we had a conversation, the 3 of us, and we were brought up how Christian music has
Mhm.
like a sound. You know, how Christian music
Man.
and Christian rap or it's all, I don't want to say this because it's not all, but I can say generally it is or it can be cheesy.
Yeah, yeah, no, you're right because when I first started, I'm gonna be 100 with you. When I started rapping, I was not listening to no Christian rap. I was not doing it. I did not listen to Lecrae. I didn't listen to nobody. Like Lecrae's like one of a good influence
He's
for me.
good.
Mhm.
But like, no, I did not listen to it because I remember I heard this Millie freestyle from some Christian rap group, and I was like, bro, your flow is trash. I'm sorry. Like I understand what I support what you're talking about, but you know, dude, like. Nah, cause it's like people focus so much on I gotta talk about God,
Yeah.
but you forget like you gotta connect to the people.
Mhm.
You gotta know how to do your style. Like you gotta be you. At the end of the day,
Mhm.
if it's not hitting the airwave like it's supposed to, then I don't think you should be rapping. I don't think you should be doing it in my
Mhm.
personal. Because it's like, yeah, rap for like, oh, I'm just doing this for like the kids, but you trying
to fit a mold.
to force it.
Mhm.
That's why it sounds forced. And when
Mhm.
it sounds forced,
Yeah.
that's not what it is. And then that's why people are so quick to be like, I'm turning this off.
Mhm.
You got to know how to blend your own personal like belief on it and make sure you have of course the word of God, but you put it in a way where it can connect to these kids because we're in a whole nother trend right now.
Yeah.
And me coming up, it's like I didn't listen to Christian rap like that, but what makes it so real is that I'll listen to J. Cole and everybody, and they have their own opinions and aspects of how they look at God, and they talk about it. And some things are positive, some things would be like, yeah, it's contradictory because of what they say probably after the next bar, something crazy. But for some people, they need to hear it in a way where it's going to be not only positive, it's going to prove the aspects of the Bible that we all look at. And it's going to also speak to the youth. It has to have those 3 components. So
Mhm.
that's why now in my music I don't cuss. That's the first step. You don't have to cuss in your music.
No.
You don't have to. I mean, because I can't say Jesus and then say the F word right after. Like it doesn't. You yourself.
Effing Jesus.
yeah, like I effing love Jesus. Like yeah, like in a way, like in a conversation, I'll look at you like I feel you, but at the same time, it's like
Yeah.
come on, bro, come on.
Yeah.
Like I feel it. Like I feel it. Like it's okay. But in my music per se, I'd look at it as I'm putting this online. That means people are gonna go back 5-10 years from now Look me up and hear what I used to say, and that's forever there.
Yeah.
So whatever I'm putting in a person's ear, that's what I'm going to feed them. So if I choose not to cuss, I'm already doing one aspect of like, cool, I'm just telling you what it is. So now it's like I didn't just subjectify my audience to just adults. Like I don't have to put a parental advisory sticker on none of my CDs.
Or the other way, where it's so trying to fit that Jesus,
Yeah.
like they're trying to fit that Christian mold.
Yeah.
That it's excluding another segment of people that want to hear real music, like you're saying. That's like it's real. It's coming from your, you're saying talking about your life.
Yeah,
or
I can still talk about the many girls that I probably talked to, been with, or something like that, or the drugs that I've done. I can talk about that, but I don't have to be like
glorify it.
Like bleep bleep bleep.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
I don't have to do that. I don't have to do that.
And you can express emotions and feelings and whatever you're trying to get across without cussing.
But I do enjoy the rap culture to the highest extent because I can. Like I said, I'll go sit here and listen to Lil Wayne's new album. I'll listen to Drake's new album. I'll listen to Kendrick. I'll listen to everybody. I'll listen to Rick Ross. All the MMG, Wale, Meek Mill. I'll listen to anybody, any name you give me. I probably already heard about their tape, read some blogs, because rap for me is truly a lifestyle, and that's truly something like you can't be a rapper and disconnect from the culture. You can't be a rapper and disconnect from the culture. When I say that, you can't go sit here and be like, "Yeah, I'm a rapper. I'm talking about Jesus." No. If you're a rapper, do you know about like the injustice that's going on with some of these rappers? Do you know, like, are you telling them like being real, like, yo, I used to have dope in the trunk too, man, but like I don't think you should still ride around with it because you got a career now. Like, you're not listening to what they're talking about. When these rappers spit, they spit pain. They're spitting like what their environment is.
Yeah.
When Meek Mill talks, he talks about how he's in the dope game, how he was in it, how he was dealing with this, what he saw, how many shootings, killings, homies died. Just as like anybody else. Just as I have some rapper friends that talk about the same thing, and I believe them because I know that's what they went through. You can rap and tell what is their environment. And that's what we most of the time go through. So I can't sit here and be like, oh, yeah, I'm a rapper, but I'm acting self-righteous because I'm talking about Jesus. And that's when people come up with Christian rap. Like, oh, you're a Christian rapper. You're just for the Christians. You're just for the church. Nah, G, I'm out here in the trenches just like you. I'm just trying to look for something better than trying to take blood from somebody else or trying to get myself locked up for 10 years.
Yeah.
What about what do you think about you mentioned some of these rappers' names? Some of these guys are at the top of pop culture right now.
Yeah.
Like Lil Wayne.
Yeah.
I from my outside perspective, I'm not really in the world. I don't listen to that stuff. But from what I see, he's an idol for the youth. Whether it be drinking or smoking or whatever he's promoting, which is himself, and that's his life. But it is kind of, kids are going to glorify that, correct?
Yeah.
So what do you think about that?
Well, how I think of it is I can't force anybody to change.
No, for sure.
I can't force like a kid to listen to me. But what I do know is some of the things that Lil Wayne is probably doing, probably half of those kids don't do. They just in love with the sight. But those same kids that probably listen to Lil Wayne are probably listening to J. Cole or Kendrick, or probably listening to Lecrae or some other rapper. They just listen to, if they're listening to him and idolizing him, the most I can do is be like, not judge him for it and not point my finger at him, but look at my life and be like, that could have been me though. And I can speak about myself and hopefully just pray and hope that kid will hear me like, yo, yeah, man.
Bridge that gap.
Yeah, and bridge the gap. That's the most you can do, because at the point, like, for example, Nicki Minaj did a song with Tasha Cobbs. That was completely unexpected for me. That was completely unexpected. And most of the time, some rappers that are in these contracts, that are in the industry, sometimes they have to do it to keep getting the bread that they got to get.
Mm-hmm.
So some of the stuff that you guys are probably hearing, it's probably like, you know, by the labels at Wishes.
Mm.
Like, you know, she did an interview. Nicki Minaj did an interview. A friend of mine told me she did an interview. That she did an interview on the fact that she did that song. People don't know, like, some artists like to be in that industry, but because of what their fan base is and what contracts they deal with and whatever business music industry at that level deal with, some things they can't do, they can't get out of, and they want to get out of, but they gotta find themselves first. Some people can't find themselves in it, so they get lost in it. But at the end of the day, still, just like any other trend will fall off, like clothing styles and things, some things will come back. If people listen to artists like Lil Wayne and just keep listening, they're just gonna always listen to him. But it's up to the kids, it's up to who's ever helping them out in those situations to help them guide, like, to what is right. Like, I listen to all the music, right? But nothing that they're doing, not saying it doesn't speak to me, nothing that they're doing will convict me to do it too. Just because they listen, I mean, they sit here and smoke weed every day, or sit here and talk about popping somebody every day, doesn't mean I'm about to go and start doing it too. Because that's where.
But you're not misled because you know the truth, and not only that, I think you listen for the musical, for the actual music aspect of it.
Yeah, I listen for that aspect. But when I was rapping before I was saved, it didn't affect me either, because I still wouldn't talk about it. I can give somebody a reference. Like, I was at the time, like, I was seriously like in listening like to ratchet music and everything, like Tyga and everything else, like party music, YG, everything. I still listen to those guys because I like to watch people's careers change and see where the vibe is going. But I listen to them, but I still couldn't make a club record because I knew who I was. It's like kids nowadays got to know who they are themselves, regardless. There's going to be everything. Like, there's going to be people who adapt themselves, like start like, oh, I'm gonna start drinking lean and stuff, I'm gonna have that look because they like the look, because they don't know themselves. They're just seeing something and just want to attract to it.
There's influence coming from all different
directions. Even in your family, growing up, babies experience influence all day. If you see family watching TV all day, or you see families playing games all day, they're gonna grow up in that environment and do the same thing. If they see arguments in their household all day, a young boy who sees his dad hit his mom probably a couple of times, he may be subject to abuse, or he may abuse somebody else. It's just all influence. But you know, if you grow up knowing somebody tells you something, like, I'm not in their life, I can't tell them that. I can only do what I can for me, and I can only do as much as God lets me do. So for those kids that still listen to Lil Wayne, I still listen to Lil Wayne too, but just know who you are, though. Yeah, I say just try to find yourself. If you, especially for kids that are trying to understand what God is and everything like that, really just look and try to make sure your spirit's aligned with a positive vibe. If it don't feel right, it's probably more likely not for you.
Yeah. And I feel like your music, you know, like you've said, you know, you're a Christian, you're a believer, but you're just your art that's coming out is just what's coming from your experiences, and you're not trying to tell people what to do or how to live, but you're showing them, hey, this is what's going on with me, and like because of God, I'm this way, and there's a positivity to your music, and I think that's needed in the culture.
I feel like it's needed in the world in general. Yeah, like this place is dark, like, and I've seen some dark parts of it, and I can be honest with that. Like, if you go listen to my music, you can tell, like, I've come from places where I talk about hope. I rather talk about hope because most of my life I've seen a lot of bad. And when it comes down to just Christianity in general, I look at people and say, no, I'm not a Christian rapper, because somebody in the church is probably on a no.
But you're a Christian who raps.
Yeah, I'm a Christian who raps. Yes, I do believe. Like, I believe in God. There's nothing that can tell me otherwise. Like, I walk with Jesus. Simple as that. Point blank. Period. But to try to subjectify my music just to that, if it was like my music was for the church, then how is it for the church? Because not everybody dealt with what I dealt with in that church. If it's for the church, like, I'm saying, people from the church can listen to it, but I'm making this song for that kid that's going to go on my SoundCloud and play it, and that's probably going through a death in his family, how to deal with it. I'm playing it for that kid that like, yo, like I got friends that are in the streets, but I don't know if I want to hang with them anymore. Like I had the same thing. I know how to. I've grown to the point to where I have friends that are gangsters, gangbangers in jail, like some killers. I have family members the same way. But like how my life was guided, if I would have made certain choices, I seriously would have been a gang member. I would not be sitting right here on this podcast. I can say that to anybody, and I can look them in the eye, straight in their soul, and tell them like, yo, this is what it is.
Yeah.
Like, so help me God. Like, that's really what it is. And I love that because it's a simple fact that I can be honest with you and I don't have to lie. Like, yo, there are days now that I still think about it. Like, sometimes I want to smoke. There are days I do want to drink. But I realize, like, if I take that sip or if I smoke, and this is not for anybody, you can do it if you want to. This is not me trying to convict you. These are my convictions.
It's good.
If I go out to a show, if I would have came to y'all church and performed and I was high, that's completely, how am I going to really speak what I'm speaking and I'm high?
Yeah.
How am I going to look at you and tell you, what if I slur a word? I'm messing up. I'm not fully focused. I'm not in God's presence. I have to understand that there's a day where I'll be looked up to from other people. I don't want to be an idol. I can't save you. I can't do that. I can only tell you this is what happened to me, and this is what led me to get here. Yeah. And this is what I'm only telling you the choices I made and how it changed my life. And that's the best way to explain what my music is. It's not for the church. It's for the people who are scared to go to the church.
Yeah, that's good.
Dang. I think that's something we stand for. I mean, me and Drew really harp on, or we have conversations all the time about the church and the way it reflects, the people of the church and how they reflect Jesus.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And
because I actually have some friends that are in the church that don't rap or do music for the church. They are like, it makes worldly rap. But some people like to just do that. Like, only reason I talk about God in my music because I made the choice to be like, there has to be some other way I can give God something because I'm just so thankful. I feel so graced up. I really am thankful for
graced
where
up.
I'm at. Oh yeah, I forgot.
The official sponsor of Monster Podcast, all graced up.
But that's real because like when you have that love and the grace that God's given you, it overflows.
Because sometimes you can do it for just a check. Like a warehouse job I have, that's not. I mean, I thank God for the check, but nothing in here is helping you guys. I mean, I don't know who tithing in there. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not in that. I'm just here because you blessed me here. This is a job that's gonna help you do what you gotta do here. But some people take rap like that too. It's probably just a job. Like I don't know anybody's personal life outside of what the media shows me. Yeah. So the best thing for me is just to listen to these words, take my opinion of it. Like, okay. And just listen to it, learn, grow, and just continue to do what I know I gotta do. Because if I'm walking and trying to be honest, I know somebody else. It's like you can't pierce it and call and like really say it's a lie. You can't prove it's a lie for me. I know it's real, and I'm that's how I can come at you. It's just real. That's just simple as that.
Yeah, no, it's good.
And I just, man, I think that's powerful, and your music will reflects. What you're doing, it's good. And I think it's because your heart and your mind is in the right place. And I just
thank you.
I just know that your music is going to be that light in I don't want to say darkness, but it's definitely in that rap world. It's different. It's not like what I was asking earlier about, kind of that culture of glorifying the smoking, the drinking, the women, whatever, your music stands out, but at the same time blends in because it sounds good. You know what I mean?
I thank you.
I mean, I can't help but just start.
That EP, honestly, for me, I look at that EP now. It was like, I'm just like, that was a lot that was like really happy, sunny for me. And usually, to be honest with you, I kind of like being in the dark era, like in the dark with things, because
struggling with the
I like that. Y'all seen a part of me, but this next project that I'm releasing, like people don't even y'all not expecting what I'm about to like tell y'all. Like y'all about to be like, oh, he's just out here telling us, and that's really it's my goal because and I've been feeling that since I started rapping like this or really putting this sort of content into my rap. Some people tell me like, are you a Christian rapper? Are you this? Are you that? They ask me questions all the time. But this one girl walked up to me, and this is when I knew I was like, okay, cool. I know I'm doing the right thing. Because she walked up to me. She said, you know what? I can't call you a Christian rapper because you're not. Some Christian rap in general tells me like, oh, go to God, do this, do that. But you're just telling me your story. And I was just like, and she told me that was like 2 years ago. She told me that, and I was at an open mic I did, and I was just like,
yeah, that's it.
That's dope.
Yeah,
and it just it resonated with me. It's just like, yeah, that's what it is. It's like I don't want to tell y'all that I'm this and like put myself in that box because that's not the case. Because I actually did songs with like pop artists. I've done songs like that's like talking about a female and did it. Yeah, I don't even know if he released it. I haven't talked to the guy in a long time. Like, and other people I've done features with. Like I can do everything. It's like, but I can only do everything that pertains to my life and tell you what it is and just be honest about it.
Yeah. So when's that new one coming out?
Oh, see, I'm shooting for this winter.
We'll have you back to promote it.
I think you know what, I would appreciate that because I think because I just honestly sent off like one of the first songs on there to get mixed, and I was listening to it and I'm just like, yeah, they don't know.
They're not ready.
They're not, I don't know if they're ready because it's like I'm not worried about the plays. I'm just worried like, are y'all gonna get the context? Because even in my name, some people don't even know what my name stands for.
I love it.
Like the Nell G, like that was a God dream itself. Like I gave y'all these business cards. They don't even know that this is an hourglass sideways, and it says Nell with the E, but that's sand right there. And people are like, why is it an hourglass sideways? Because God doesn't live in time; He made time. So it's sideways because it can never stop, and it's an infinity sign. So Nell stands for in never ending love. It's forever.
Ending love.
That's why forever Nell G, and G is under it because it's Nell period, because everything after God matters, and that's why it's me. The G.
Dang. Where can everybody find your
That's
stuff?
legit.
Everybody can go on like Spotify, YouTube, Apple Music, and type in capital NEL period space and then G. Or you can go to my Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, SoundCloud at ForeverNelG, ForeverNelG, and just check it out, man. It's never ending. I'm doing this forever.
Nice. And we'll put that information on the show notes if you scroll down. Those links, and if you're listening, please go look Nell up, listen to his music, support him.
You won't be disappointed.
You will not be disappointed.
I know
I'm
humbled. I'm humbled.
The next thing is gonna be my mom hitting me up, be like, "Oh, it's my workout music."
No, I've been sending people like, "Yeah, play this when you work out." And it was like, "What? Just play when you work out." And some people tell me like, "Oh yeah." It's in their little treadmill workout. Like, man, maybe hitting the treadmill.
We'll have to maybe use some for some of our outro stuff if you allow us.
If you approve.
Oh yeah, go ahead. I'll tell you, go ahead. Be my guest.
There it is.
We got the permission.
Yeah.
You hear that, iTunes?
I appreciate it, you guys.
All right, man. Well, Nell, thanks for coming out for the long trek. We hope you enjoy the rest of your day and just keep doing what you're doing.
Thank you, man.
Much
Peace
love,
be upon
brother.
you, man. Thank you so much.
With that, I just ask that you open your eyes, listen closely, soften your heart, and ask God to reveal Himself to you.
Boy, you know I've been good. God gave me away. Boy, you know I've been good. The devil came out to play. Boy, you know I've been good. I got to see another day. I've been working like every day, non-stop. I'm steadfast, the Holy Father, now that's my rock. My girl told me you better keep the consistency. Rap's the only thing matching with my intensity. Every time I start spitting, it brings the best in me. I can finally just tell my mama to rest in peace. Your son got it, our king gave me the release. Love, hope, and the faith, the holy recipe. Boy, you know I've been good, always kept these intentions. People shout the opinions, I do not give them attention. I ignore all the mentions and get right to the business. Like an heir to the company, boy, the devil ain't punking me, but he probably mad though. He plotting against me, and I'm actually glad though. Cause all that means is I'm a serious threat. They say that life is a gamble, and I'm taking all bets. They know this kid is the best. Look, boy, you know I've been good. So why do I gotta doubt? Boy, you know I've been good. And I don't need to ball out. I've been good. I've been good. Time's been rough, but I'm still good. I'm still good. I'm still good. So I gotta hold it down, cause I've been good. Boy, you know I've been good. So I do not need to worry. Hey. Boy, you know I've been good. And no, I'm not sorry. Everybody complaining, crying for compensation. I'm just happy I'm breathing. This is my celebration. Loyalty to this movement, living in dedication. If I miss your call, sorry, I'm meditating. Every move that is made, got it premeditated. Got this wedding that's coming, about to graduate soon. God is taking me high, I'm talking hot air balloon. Trying to light up the world, brighter than a full moon. Rappers catching these waves, boy, I'm deeper than Lugia. Now you playing my tape, let my words start moving you. Let them show you a new day, put peace in your mind. Now I know I've been good, but there is greater to find. Boy, you know I've been good, so why do I gotta doubt? Boy, you know I've been good, there ain't no need to ball out. I've been good, times are rough, but I'm still good, I'm still good, I'm still good. So I gotta hold it down, cause I've been good. Boy, you know I've been good, God gave me away. Boy, you know I've been good, the devil came out to play. Boy, you know I've been good, I got to see another day. Boy, you know I've been good.